All right, today I'm going to show you how I insulate my hives and get them ready for winter. Not everybody does this, and you don't necessarily have to do this, but I want my bees to thrive and not just survive. So I do everything I can to help them out in the winter and see that they make it through. If you notice here, this roof's off. That's what happens when you have beehives around livestock. Got a couple horses in here and they've knocked this roof off. Hopefully the bees are doing fine. I can see activity down there, so I don't think it's messed with them too much, and we ain't had a lot of rain. So I want to apologize in advance. I've got my microphone inside my veil, so if you hear any heavy breathing or sniffing or any of that, it's just because it's right here up against my face. All right, let's get started. All right, we're going to start right here at hive number 1. I've got this styrofoam insulation that I pick up at the hardware store, and I use zip system tape and put around. I've cut 45-degree angles so it folds up like this and it'll wrap around the hive. But come summertime, I can lay it out like that and store it a lot easier. You try to store a bunch of boxes of styrofoam is going to take up a lot of space. So storing it like that with everything laying on top of it makes it a whole lot easier. Okay, so that's how I assembled these things, and this is how it works. Goes right around the hive just like that. Covers those 3 sides. Then we just have a square piece wrapped on all 4 sides. The tape helps keep it from deteriorating faster than it normally would. And it just rests right on the hive like that. So it leaves this whole opening down here, and everything butts up together just like that. Okay, so inside the hive, this is how I set them up. You can see on the inner cover that it's deeper here than it is on this side. So I like to flip it around to give them an extra height. Like that, basically. I take a run of paper towels, or you can use newspaper. Not a lot of people get the newspaper anymore, so paper towels works. They can chew through this paper towel with no problem. And then I add bricks of sugar. To make these bricks, you just add a little bit of water to a bowl of sugar, mix it up, not a lot of water, just enough to get everything moist. And then you let it dry and harden up. Some of these didn't harden up all the way, so they're breaking apart. Out of the way there, bees. Okay, so the bees can actually come up through there, and this is considered emergency food. So if they run out of honey during the winter, they can come up here and eat on this. And then if I get any warm days during the winter time, which we usually get 2 or 3, I can come up here and just kind of crack it open and peek and see how they're doing on their emergency food. The paper towels helps keep the sugar from breaking up and falling down in there. But like I say, they'll eat the edges of this and they'll make little holes through it. Bees can chew right through that, and they'll be able to access it. Now turning this upside down gives more height for these bricks. So you just flip it up like that. It's still not completely all the way down there, but it'll work. Then I'm going to put this back on, just like that. Actually, that's not going to work. I've got some hive beetle traps in there, and that's what it's doing, is resting on these hive beetle traps. So I'm just going to move it like that. There we go. Now it sets flat. Put this back on here. Now if you notice, I've got ventilation on my hives. I've got 4 vent holes that I've drilled into my inner cover. I've put screen over all those, and then I have this shallow honey super that I have drilled holes at an angle, so water doesn't run into the hive. And I've put screen netting on the inside to keep anything that would want to go in there out. So that gives them ventilation. You don't want too much moisture to build up in the hive, and that's the way that I deal with it. I also put 5 yards of burlap in the top of each hive. So just like this, stuff it down in there, and that kind of works as an insulator, and it also wicks any moisture that comes up out of the hive into the burlap. Then the air can move through these vents and dry out the moisture and all that. So you don't have moisture dripping back down on your bees. It all comes out through the ventilation. And then the top goes back on. Okay, now the thing I do is I use ratchet straps to tighten all this stuff down. You just basically stick the ratchet strap around the insulation. And I like to keep the ratchet part in the front. Just like that. Okay, there you have it. That's the setup for the winter. They're insulated on all four sides. I've got my entrance reducer in there down to the smallest opening. I like to put solid bottom boards, but I don't have all solid bottom boards. This one here is actually a screen bottom board. With the screen bottom boards, I'm going to stick the corrugated plastic that comes with the screen board in there just to reduce airflow. And ideally though, I normally swap out and just do solid bottom boards in the winter, screen bottom boards in the summer. That's how I do it. So burlap in the top, sugar for emergency food inside the hive, insulated on all four sides. These girls are ready to survive the winter. All right, so that's how we do it. All the hives are covered up for the year. This hive here has an additional honey super on it, so I had to make the insulation a little bit bigger. If you've got two deeps, you'll have to make it even bigger. So you just kind of got to adjust it the way that that you need it, or like it, however you want to do it. Some of these hives, like I said, have the screen bottom board. This one here has like bowed outside, so the insulation doesn't fit quite right. Just did the best I could, and you can't really plan for every little thing, so that's one thing that I didn't foresee coming. But it's on there good, and they should do fine. So anyway, hopefully this will keep all the bees nice and warm and happy for the winter. What I'm going to end up doing is coming back, putting the corrugated plastic in each of the screened bottoms, and I'll also be putting bricks on top of each of these just to help hold down the top from wind or maybe a horse rubbing up against it, whatever. I'll also be coming and putting a board on the back of the hive that will tilt the hive forward. So if any rainwater or whatnot was to come down on the front of the hive, it won't run back up in the hive, it'll run out of the hive away from the bees. The goal is to keep your bees dry in the wintertime. They can withstand cold, they bundle together and keep warm, vibrate their bodies. But if there's moisture in the hive and it's condensing on the ceiling and dripping down on the bees, they can't withstand that. So that's the whole goal here. Try to reduce as much condensation, and hopefully they don't have to work so hard to stay warm. Also, the insulation will give them a little bit of reprieve from the super cold temperatures and just help them to not have to work so hard. The harder they got to work to stay warm, the more resources they eat, the less honey they have to make it all the way till springtime. So, all right, guys. So that's it. Thanks for watching to this point, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.